Welcome to the Leaderish Podcast, leadership lessons straight up, with your hosts, Dr. Jen and Regina. Hey, Jen, how's it going?
Hey, Regina. It's fantastic. It is a surprisingly gorgeous, cool and, well, I'm not going to say cool, but I'm going to say not 100 degrees and lower humidity day in Nashville, which it's July. That doesn't happen very often, and that's freaking wonderful.
I have not been outside today except to drop my kids off at their summer camp. So thank you for telling me that. And maybe before I go pick them up, I'll go for a little walk.
You must take Walter for a walk. It's just gorgeous.
He'd probably love that.
I just took Dolly and she loved it. And I didn't even sweat. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm in. You sold me. Sold.
I know.
I mean, I've got fresh, clean hair today. Don't really want to get it all sweaty and gross. So if I'm guaranteed to not get it sweaty and gross from a walk, I will go for a walk today.
It is lovely, but I think it will stay lovely. Well, how are you?
Doing good. We now have a 7-year-old in the house.
Oh my God.
Super excited about Finn being 7 years old. So excited about that. And then they've got lots of fun things. We've got a vacation coming up in a couple weeks. So things are just going great right now. Looking forward to vacation, getting away to the beach. It's gonna be awesome.
I love it. Love it. Love it. I can't believe you have a 7-year-old today.
No. It was last week. It was a week ago, actually. But I keep telling him like every day, "You're 7 now, Finn." He's like, "Mom, can you carry my lunch in?" And I'm like, "Oh, Finny, you're 7 now.
That's
You're going to have
precious.
to do that." And of course, the 8-year-old is like, "I've been doing this since I was 4. I'm like, "Yeah, well, everybody's different."
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Oh, they are. They're quite the joy.
Like, you're 7 now. Sorry, you have to cook your own dinner. You have to do your own laundry.
Yeah. Mommy can't carry you anywhere anymore. You were 7 years old. Yes.
Well, on this lovely day, let's talk about the drink of the day. What do you have in your cup, Regina?
Well, I know that our listeners get quite frustrated when we don't have fun things in our cup. And all I have today is sparkling water. It's not even flavored. I made it in my Soda Stream, except we have an Arkle. It's not a Soda Stream. And so I just have a bottle of carbonated water with no flavor. I know, I'm so boring.
But does it make you happy?
It makes me happy. Yes, always.
Then that's really all that matters. And what is an Arkle? Is that like a knockoff Soda Stream, or is that like a higher end Soda Stream?
Well, based on what my husband paid for it, it's the like fancy Soda Stream. And I don't think it does anything different or better than the Soda Stream.
Good to know.
But it looks pretty. It is all stainless steel.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, but it takes regular Soda Stream bottles. So like I have Soda Stream bottles that I use to put in the Arkle.
The Arkle. It's just a funny name.
Arkle. It's 2 A's. So maybe it's a Arkle. I don't know.
Arkle.
Arkle.
Oh, God.
Oh, what's in your cup?
I actually have something different in my cup today as well. It is not alcoholic, although it probably would be good with alcohol, maybe. I actually have a chocolate smoothie, which is really, really good. It is silk chocolate almond milk, and their chocolate almond milk is like really, really rich.
Oh, good.
I can just drink it. It's delicious. And then I have the what is it called? Vital Proteins chocolate. And then half of a frozen banana. Teensiest bit of Nutella. It is really good.
Oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. And you made that yourself at your home.
I did. I made it in my fancy blender downstairs.
Is it like a Vitamix?
It is a Vitamix, but I bought it on Facebook Marketplace when we moved here. And this is a funny story as well. I bought it on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, a Vitamix. Oh my God. And so many people wanted this Vitamix. It was brand new, but the people were moving to Europe, and apparently you can't use them in Europe because of the voltage or the power or something. I don't know these things, but there's so many people that wanted it. And we were just moving here, and he also had some Adirondack chairs. And I was like, hey, I'll take the Vitamix and the Adirondack chairs. And he said, it's yours because I've been trying to get rid of these Adirondack chairs forever. I'll for like $50 or something. So I got the Vitamix and the Adirondack chairs for like $150 for all of
Wow.
it.
Yeah.
The Adirondack chairs turned out to be complete pieces of shit and fell apart. But even if I wouldn't have gotten those, it's still a really, really good deal.
Heck yeah, it is.
My favorite purchase of all time. Like, I love a good deal.
I do have the Vitamix, but it's not the big Vitamix. It's the Vitamix Personal. So they started to make one that's not like one that they use at the Jamba Juice. And so it still has a thing, but it makes the best hummus ever.
Whoa, I've never thought about making my own hummus.
You've got to make hummus in the Vitamix. And it's so easy. Jen, a couple cans of chickpeas, 1 or 2, drain it. Get you some tahini. You can usually find it in like the organic section of the grocery store. And put like just a couple tablespoons, a couple scoops in there. A crap ton of olive oil, a little salt, little lemon. Oh my gosh, it is. Oh, and garlic. What?
I was going to say.
How did I miss garlic?
Hold up.
Yeah. And you can use minced garlic, powdered garlic salt, whatever you want. Garlic. Put some garlic in there. Fresh garlic, doesn't matter. And let your Vitamix go to work until it gets a little warm and it's creamy. It is better than the stuff you will buy at the grocery store.
Oh,
and then
I'm
you can make all
sure.
your adjustments. And people will taste your hummus and they'll be like, that is the best hummus I've ever had in my life.
Oh, I have Pilates tonight, and I am going to, it's right by Publix. So I'm literally going to do this tonight and get some carrot chips.
Yes.
Mm.
I wish we lived closer together because I think right now I have about 12 cans of chickpeas and I haven't been making hummus lately. So I either A, need to make some hummus. I've got everything else here, of course, or I need to give some of my chickpeas away. If you were near, I would give you chickpeas.
There's so many wonderful things that would happen if we lived close.
I know. So many wonderful things, although I'd probably never see my family.
Also chickpeas, though.
And chickpeas.
Another tiny funny story is that, and I may have shared this before, but I got in a very heated argument one time with a friend who said that hummus was made with chickpeas. And I said, no, it is actually made with garbanzo beans. And we went back and forth in a
wow.
very heated argument before we realized
they're the same thing.
They are 100% the exact same thing. We were mad.
It's hilarious that you say this because during COVID, when most people were doing like grocery pickup and the grocery stores were empty, and so you'd get like half your order, I had ordered garbanzo beans and they were out of garbanzo beans. And I was very frustrated because we were eating a lot of hummus during COVID. And so I park my car and I go in and they're like, we don't have any substitutes. We have no garbanzo beans. And there are like 11 cans of chickpeas. And I'm like, are you serious? They are the exact same thing. Oh,
do some of the cans say garbanzo and some of them say chickpeas?
Absolutely.
They must.
They do.
Because I remember, this argument was a very long time ago, before I was educated on the subject, but
obviously
I think I used to use cans that said garbanzo beans. And I was like, I know that I'm right on this. I have it with authority that it's garbanzo beans.
Of course. Of
So
course.
funny.
Yeah.
I can't wait to make some hummus tonight, though.
It's going to be delicious.
Yum. Alrighty. We do have other things to talk about, I think.
We do.
Maybe we should.
Let's see how it goes.
Maybe Dolly looks like she's taking a nap.
But she's probably going to take a giant poo in the middle
She
of our
might.
recording.
I just took her out before this, so we'll see. But we do have cool things to talk about. So what are
We
we
do.
talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about failure. So, if you listen to our last episode, we really talked about why it's so hard learning a new skill and kind of the suck of that. The one thing that we really didn't address, though, is when you're trying to learn a new skill or you're trying to learn something new or you're growing, sometimes you actually fail. And so I wanted to kind of explore that today. I've been thinking through some failures that I've had in my lifetime. And I will tell you, failure sucks. For me, it is probably my number one biggest fear. And so I wanted us to kind of tackle that a little bit today.
Yeah. And it's another theme that we have talked about, fear of failure, kind of in the past 2 seasons, actually, this season and season 1, which is crazy to say. Like, oh, we have seasons. We're
I
so
know.
fancy now.
I know. So fancy.
I know. But yeah, exactly. And how do you cope with that? How do you turn it into something positive, which sounds corny and cliche, but it's just true. And maybe we should start with some of our own failures.
Yeah. You want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
Okay. I have a few in mind. I'll go to like the very, very, very beginning part of like any career that I had had. I was newly out of, I heard that.
Sorry.
I was newly out of college, pretty much ready to take on the world. I had worked in restaurants before that. So all through high school, I had worked in restaurants, hostessing, serving, and then bartending. And I really wanted to get out of the restaurant industry since I was now, like a real educated adult. And so I
Little did
actually
you know how much education you actually got in the service industry.
tons of education from the service industry, very little from college, actually. I mean,
Isn't that
it's
the truth?
quite interesting. So I go to a temp agency and ask them to help me find a job. And they found me a temp job. And I was an office manager, Jen. My first real job was an office manager role. It was a veterinarian pharmacy company. So I guess they manufactured and sold drugs to vets for animals.
This is going to be so good. Like, I already know this is going to be so good. And I
Yeah.
just have to say, I know Regina, how many years later?
Well, that was 25 years, 22 years ago, 22.
Okay. I only say that because you still show up every day today like you're ready to take over the world with energy and passion and enthusiasm. So I cannot fathom what that looked like 20 years ago, and you're laughing so hard that you have your hand over your face.
Well, I mean, my role was to organize the supply room and order new supplies. And like, I think that was it. I don't think I had any other role. Let me tell you, that was the most organized supply room you will ever see in your life. It was stocked with every kind of supply you can even imagine. After about 2 weeks, I was pretty sure that I just needed to be the president and CEO of the company because obviously I could run this veterinarian pharmacy company. I have no idea what goes into that. Way better than anyone else could. I pretty much got shit canned 2 weeks. 2 weeks into it, for my over enthusiasm.
If there was anything you were ever going to get fired for, it's definitely over enthusiasm.
Oh God.
Oh my God, I would need to process this for a moment. That's amazing. And was there a label on everything in the supply room?
Well, I bought the label maker and then
course.
labeled everything.
I knew that already.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I even got the label maker that did the different color fonts. So different things were in different colors and it all made sense.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. Like any kind of paper product, folder, Post-it note was all in green.
How did it go downhill so quickly?
I mean, when you want to take over the world, you get pretty annoying to the old bird who's running the show, right? I mean, she's God rest her soul, I'm sure, because there's no way she can be alive still 20 something years later. Or if she is like hopefully feet up at a beach, living out her days. Anyway, when you are the young go getter and you're working with, the almost
Seasoned.
ready, retired, seasoned employee, they are none too excited about your enthusiasm. So huge failure for me. And oh my gosh, it hurt. It crushed me. I was crushed. I think I cried for like 2 days.
This is your first job, like after school.
I lasted, I think it was 2 weeks. It was a long time ago, but I think it was only a couple weeks. The temp agency loved me. They did find me another assignment. I worked at that job for several years. It was great. Started out as a receptionist, worked my way up to a licensing specialist. It was great. Failure number 2 that sticks out really, really heavy in my brain. I was now working at a company that I worked at for 9 years. And I'd only been there for a year or so, and e-learning was brand new. So like that computer-based training. And I talked to my boss into letting me learn how to do it, like giving me the bandwidth to learn how to do it. And so I had been doing some research, taking some classes, got the software to do it. And I put together my first e-learning course. I thought it was awesome. I mean, like, I thought it was beautiful and great and perfect. And she looked at it and she was like, so disappointed. It never went anywhere. We never used it. I had like poured my whole heart out in this. It was such a fail. And I, again, was crushed. So a few small examples. There are many more, a few small examples of some good Regina failures. How about you, Jen? Do you got any?
Well, those are so good, especially the second one, because that's something, you're a bit seasoned at this point in your career. You have some experience, even though this thing is new, and you pour your heart and soul into it. You get so excited and then crushed.
Yes.
So I have a couple similar experiences. One I know that I've shared before on the podcast, but it is worth rehashing, I believe, because it's very similar. I ran some data for the company that I was working at, and I shared it in front of a board, not the board, but a board at the company. And it was raw data. There were things that would have potentially made it not as accurate as it could be. And in the middle of my presentation, the president of the company says, "Stop. We're not going to look at this anymore. We're done here."
And like cut you off.
Completely. And I was standing in front of the room, in front of a group of people that to this day, I probably respect, except that person, respect more than, I'm kidding. I really respect him too, but respect more than a lot of, I don't want to say respect more, but some of the people I respect most out of those that I've worked with, I'll say. I've learned a lot from them. I'm still in contact with them. I'm friends with them and their kids. Actually, a lot of them are my age. So it was really, really painful because I had built credibility with this group over the last year, probably. And this was the first time we were actually looking at data to see how it compared to the kind of the model that we had built. And some of the data matched up beautifully, which I was thrilled about. I was so excited to share that data with them that, hey, what we're doing, we are right on the money. And then the second piece of it was, on this part, we're not right on the money, but there's a lot of factors that could go into this. But I didn't get to say that because I was shut down. And then I had, we broke for lunch, and then I had to come back and present the rest of the day. And it was really hard in the literal midst of a failure
to keep going.
It was awful. And
Mm.
then after that, really reflecting on like, what did I do so wrong? Like, I don't understand. And I didn't do the pre-wire. We've talked about that before, and I
Mhm.
know that. But now, gosh, 12 years or so later, 15 years later, it's really easy to look back and say, well, duh, I didn't do the pre-wire, I didn't vet the data, I didn't do all of these things. It took a long time for me to learn from that failure and for me to figure out what I was supposed to learn from that failure.
Right.
In the meantime, it was just, well, the way that I was treated in that meeting was not great. And I was focusing on kind of what was done to me
Yeah.
instead of what I did wrong and what I could learn from it. And I think similar to learning a new skill, it's how am I looking at this? Am I looking at this from a place of how can I grow moving forward? Or am I looking at this from a place of what is being done to me and I'm frustrated and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, failure sucks and failure hurts. And it was crappy the way that that happened
Right.
in the middle of the meeting. And so I give yourself time to process and time to, I don't know, have a little pity party if you need to, but take a day and then start moving on and figuring out what can I learn? What could I have done differently?
Mhm.
That kind of thing. So the second failure I would share is a role that I was in and a company that I worked at, the shortest tenure in my entire career. It was about a year and a half. And first I learned that I made the wrong choice. I went to a role for kind of the glamour of it, of the company, the corner office,
Mhm.
the title, the money, the name, like the company was kind of prestigious, at least in the area. And I knew going into it, the subject matter was not my passion, but I'm like, oh, small detail, totally insignificant. I'm so excited. So when my boss, who was the director of the group at the time, sat me down, I'll never forget it. I had been out with a terrible stomach virus. I came in first and I'm still like weak and not feeling great and like clammy. First thing, she pulls me into her office, shuts the door, and she sits me down and is like, your facilitation style is really not working.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I've never been given feedback like that before. That something like a core part of my job I'm not doing well. And in my head, I'm going, but I've been doing this for years. Nobody's ever told me that before. And I asked for some clarity, which I would always recommend around, well, can you tell me what about it? And in my head, I was like, I'm the training professional here. You just happen to come across this in your regular role. That's where my head was at the moment. Like,
Of
oh,
course.
I'm the expert here, and you're going to tell me I'm not good at facilitation. So when I asked for clarity, she said, you don't act like you enjoy the subject matter. You don't come across with energy and enthusiasm in the courses, and you're not inquisitive and curious about really digging in and learning the material. And I was crushed because, again, I have been like, this is what I went to school for. This is my career. This is what I was doing.
Mhm.
And I went home and I really thought about it. I bitched and bitched and bitched and bitched to Tom, to my friends, to my parents. And then finally I realized she was 100% right.
Wow.
And it took me a while to realize she was right because I hated the subject matter. I wasn't enthusiastic. I didn't care about financial systems that I was training. I wasn't like, oh, this is how you do a journal entry. I wonder how you do blah, 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 blah. Because I hated it. I hated it.
Mm.
I still remember like it was a dark room full of accountants that I was teaching financial systems to. I didn't enjoy it. And that's when I thought I took the role for the wrong reasons. And now I'm not doing well. And that was a huge learning point for me. And actually, that's what propelled me to go back and get my doctorate in leadership, because I realized that's my passion. I've missed it. And I think it was very freeing for everybody probably when I left.
I love it. I love it. That is great. So we've both shared two of our past failures. I think as you get further through your career, I think you have fewer failures, but I think your failures become higher stakes,
Yes.
right? Like my two failures, losing a temp job, not doing an e-learning correctly, those two failures were low stakes, right? Like nothing's
Such a good
really
point.
at stake there. They were early in my career. I do have some higher stake failures as well, but they're a little too fresh, so I'm not ready to talk about those. And even
Same.
yours, yeah, right? Even the two that you shared earlier in your career, pretty low stakes. But I think what I heard from you and what I didn't share my lessons learned, but you, because you immediately went into here's my failure and here's what I've learned. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today, because a failure really isn't a failure if you've learned something from it. And if we can find a way to think like a scientist, we can shift our mind. So think about a new vaccine, right? They test a new vaccine and it fails. Do you think they get fired? No, a scientist doesn't. In fact, it's a huge win because they know that won't work and they can keep going. Every failure gets them closer to success. And it's the same for us, actually. We just feel like our failures are a part of who we are, and we internalize those, and we see failure as a project or failure at initiative or failure at as a job is our own personal failure. It is intrinsic to who we are that we failed. A scientist does not see the failure personally. A scientist sees a failure as a success and more data that leads them to their final big success.
Gosh, that is such a fantastic analogy. Not even an analogy, it's just a truth. And wonderful, wonderful way to shift the way that we think about this. Because what you and I are saying is we attach that failure to our self-worth.
That's right.
Meaning now I'm not good enough because I failed at this one thing. I will never be good, or I've knocked down my self-worth a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good enough.
Yes.
It just fuels that. And that the way that you just described that is freaking fantastic.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Jen. I'm still scared to fail. Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you or anyone listening that I'm like, oh, I'm really good at failure. I haven't had an opportunity really to fail in a while. I also surround myself with a lot of really great people who really don't want to see me fail either. But what I can say is, as a leader, I've allowed my team to fail more than I ever have before. And I shouldn't say fail, because that is such a dirty word.
I know it sounds negative when you say that, but it's not.
Yes. And that's the thing. And so I even had a conversation recently with a woman where things hadn't gone really well. And she came to me and she's like, oh, I would have done this and this and this differently. And I was like, that is so cool. Like, look at you. That is amazing. Yes, let's do those things. That sounds great. So instead of saying, wow, you really messed up that one. And I haven't always been this way, but I try to be super supportive because there wasn't a mess up. In fact, had things not gone the way that they had, which wasn't great, and I had maybe told her to do things a certain way, then what did she learn from that?
To listen to what you say.
Yeah. Well, no, because it would have been easy, right? But
Yeah.
because it was hard And she was like, whoa, this didn't go the way I wanted it to. Now she can think of a 20 different ways to make it better next time. She's learned and she's grown, and she'll never make the same mistake again. I will never be the overzealous office manager, Jen.
Oh, I would love to walk into an office where you were the office manager.
At 22 years old. It was
Yes.
awesome. Also, if I think back to my second failure with the instructional design and the e-learning design and stuff like that, what I learned from that is that I shouldn't be creating something in my own little vacuum. I learned a valuable lesson. I should have showed that to my peers. I should have gotten feedback. I should have put it out into the universe to get feedback from strangers. There were so many things that I could have done before just taking it to my boss. I don't do that anymore.
That's so interesting because and I'm learning this about you, or where this came from, because gosh, if you're creating something or if you're drafting something, the first thing you do is, hey, do you have a second to look at this?
Yeah.
Hey, will you look at this? And you talk through it and you want feedback. You are the best at that. And now I know why.
It all stems from that. So thank you. See, I didn't fail. I learned from that misstep and I apply it every day. And now it's super easy. It's super easy for me because I had the failure. I failed and I learned. I consider that a success. If I'm a scientist, huge win. But because I'm a middle-aged woman, I still see it as a failure. I'm trying to talk myself out of it with you guys right now. But there was so much that I learned from those two situations. And it's really a good thing, right?
It's incredible. And what you're making me think is, if you do that for yourself, going back to the growth mindset idea, if you do that for yourself, that's amazing. But as a people leader, you're doing that for your team and you're creating a culture of growth without fear of failure,
which creates trust.
Exactly. And innovation and creativity.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. It all goes back to fear, of course.
Always.
I know.
Either fear or boundaries, right?
No.
Everything or our values. Those are kind of our three things, right?
Yep.
Fear, boundaries, or values.
So true. It's so true. Renaming the podcast. I'm just kidding.
Ooh. No, we're not. I like leaderish. We're not changing that.
No, I agree.
Anyway, I think to put kind of a fine tip on this, there are many times in our lives where we feel like we have failed, and there are different ways that we can fail. If you can step back, like Jen said, give it a day, have your pity party. You can step back, spend that time having the pity party, and then you can actually dig in and think about what you can learn from the situation. That's a win. It's not a failure. It's actually a success. And every failure that Jen and I have talked about, we have grown and we have learned new skills. We've applied those skills religiously for many years because of the pain that we went through for the failure.
You just set up something so well that I wanted to point out as well. We learned those experiences from pain.
Mm-hmm.
They were awful. We felt like we had let people down.
Yes.
But if you can start looking at opportunities to learn new things every time you do something that doesn't work, instead of seeing it as a failure, you're also teaching the people around you how to see that thing.
Yes.
So if I do something that I'm not proud of, that doesn't go well, if I, have the pity party, but have it with a trusted person or yourself, not in front of a lot of people, because if you freak out, you go dark, you tell people that you've made this big mistake. How are you going to recover? You spin, blah, 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 blah. Other people are going to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
If you, no big deal. We're learning from this and we'll do better next time. The people around you are going to react the same way.
That's right. And I will say I haven't always been that leader.
Oh, I haven't either.
I have not always been that leader. I think I've really come into it in the last couple of years, and I have a team that really trusts me and cares about me
Agree.
and gives me feedback. But I haven't always been the leader that would say, "So what? What'd you learn?" Like, "Yeah, whatever. It happens. We're not doing brain
Exactly.
surgery here.
Right.
There's nothing life and death about what
Now,
we
if you're
did.
out there and you are doing brain surgery,
I'm
we have a
sorry.
different podcast episode for you to listen to.
Yeah.
Or
Or
maybe
you
a
should
different
stop listening to
podcast.
us. You should stop listening to us if you're out there doing brain
Yeah.
surgery.
Maybe that's a failure. Maybe.
Oh, good gravy. Good stuff.
What's one thing you can do in the next 24 hours?
Ooh, I think back on your failures. I think it was really helpful for Jen and I as we were kind of preparing for this podcast to think about some of our failures. Think about your failures and what you did learn from them. And if you didn't learn something from it, figure it out.
Amen. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Time for the section called Fill Your Cup.
Mhm.
What are you doing to fill your cup, Regina?
Preparing for vacation. So vacation's coming up here very soon for me. My whole family's going to the beach, taking 8 or 9 days. It's more
Oh,
than a week because we're like doing both weekends. So
wonderful.
a nice long vacation at the beach. And I am super stoked. Like I'm totally gearing up. I'm ready. I am like on cloud 9, ready to go.
I am so excited for you.
Thank
Are the
you.
boys excited?
Oh, they can't stop talking about it, except we're going to Alabama, which right on the border of Florida and Alabama. And Finn is having a fit because he wants to go to Florida. I'm like, dude, it's a 10-minute drive. You want to go to the Florida beach? You got it.
I mean, can go to the Floribama, maybe not with a child.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I bet you can during the day.
I bet you can.
Yeah, I bet you can. Sure. I think that once he walks out of the condo and sees the lazy river and the
Oh,
pool and the slides and all of the fun things and the beach all in the same area,
gonna freak out.
he's going to be just fine that he's in Alabama.
He won't even know he's in Alabama.
Oh, he knows. He knows. Anywho, what are you doing to fill your cup?
I actually have, this sounds very silly, but I had to get a new library card because I was no longer allowed access to download the free books from the public library on my Kindle.
Uh-huh.
And I had to go get a library card. And I haven't been to a library probably since we moved here, maybe 5 years
Oh.
or more. So I went to the downtown library, which is the closest one to me. And I had the best time. I was like a kid. It was ridiculous.
Did you do the children's library? Because it is ridiculous in the downtown library. It is gorgeous.
I didn't. I just went in the fiction area. Well, in the main hall of the library is amazing. So, and my new library card says I read banned books. Isn't that cute? I love it.
I love it.
I know.
That is awesome.
But I went crazy in the smell of the library books. They smell so good. They crackle when they open.
know.
It makes me so happy. So I checked out a lot of books.
How are you going to read a lot of books?
I'm not quite sure, but I'm so excited about it. And also, this is like totally lame, but a friend gave me a whole bunch of different varieties of tea, like sleepy time tea kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so I have this new full-on routine at night that gets me so excited where I turn on my tea kettle, I wash my face, I do all the face things. I wash it with like a super hot washcloth. It feels amazing. I put on all my facial stuff. I go fix my tea perfectly. I put on, fresh PJs. I get into bed and I read. Then I take my little melatonin gummies and go to bed. But I read for quite a while and it's just like made me so freaking happy. It's ridiculous.
Okay, that sounds interesting, but can we go back to the face routine?
Yes, we can.
Are you using the Imogene and Co?
Of course
Semolina?
I am.
It's got semolina in it. I think it's or spirulina. Spirulina, the green. The
Oh,
green,
yes,
the
absolutely.
green gooey stuff.
Yeah, I slather that on and then
Yes.
I take the hot
Oh
washcloth
my
and
gosh.
wash it all off.
It is so stinking magical. And so, funny story for you before we sign off for the day. We had a funeral last weekend. A happy funeral. My grandmother is now in heaven, God rest her soul, in exactly the place that she needs to be, nice and happy. But I shared a room with my parents, a hotel room with my parents.
I cannot imagine.
My husband brought the kids the funeral day, not the day before. And I come out of the bathroom with the green goo and I'm like rubbing it because I really enjoy like really
Oh,
getting
yeah.
that in there. And I do a really long scrub with it. And my parents were both talking, they were having a conversation, and it was like the record player when it goes, "Er?" They both just stopped and they were like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "Ooh, hold on, wait." And I took it off. I was like, "Dad, feel my face." He's like,
That's
"Oh, it
amazing.
feels like a baby's butt." And I was like, "Thank you." So yes, I love her products. My sister's actually going to set up some time to talk to Miss Allison
Oh,
about some
really?
products. Yeah, as well. So
I love
anyway,
it.
Imogene and Co. If you don't know about them, you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook. They have a website, imogeneandco.com, that you can go to as well and order products.
And she's local Nashville. She's an incredible human. And my coffee pot is turning itself off now. That's beeping in the background, but she, pharmacist by trade. I think she still does some pharmacy, but she quit doing
does.
that full time
Yep.
because she is also creating, I was going to use a word like a pharmacy word for that, but compounding. I don't know.
Ooh.
All of her own completely natural, completely clean skincare products. And I mean, it's like a win-win-win-win. Not only is she amazing, the products are great, they're reasonably priced. That's one of her goals, access to everybody. I mean, it's just, and they're amazing.
So interesting thing that you may not know, when I first went to see her at the Nolensville Farmers Market, I live in Nolensville. I went to see her and a dear friend had messaged her before I got there and to let her know that I was coming. That dear friend is Dr. Jen. And Jen, for Mother's Day, actually bought me my first 2 products. And that was just the sweetest thing that I think has ever happened to me, showing up. And then we took pictures and sent them to Jen, and it was just quite lovely. Anyway.
I mean, connecting to badass women that I adore to each other is just the best. So that makes me
Indeed.
very happy.
Indeed. All right, Jen, we'll tell them how they can contact us.
All right. So first I have to say we did get an email.
What?
So thank you very much
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we got an email. So thank you very much. You know who you are, who sent us an email.
One email. We've gotten one email. One.
I'm choosing to celebrate the one email.
Let's do that. Thank you, Jen. This is not a failure. This is a success.
Yes.
One email. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was really
we got
sweet
it.
too.
It was very exciting. Thank you very much. And that also is one of the people that is encouraging us to do this, which is fantastic. And it means a lot. So thank you very much. If you would like to send us an email, all 100 or so of you that listen to us, which is really amazing on a regular basis. We had one episode, the Coach Yourself episode, that was what, two something?
Yeah.
250 people
Crazy.
listen to it, which
it's insane.
it's very humbling and we appreciate it very much. So if you would like to send us an email, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you would like us to talk about. It is leaderishpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find us on Instagram at leaderishpodcast as well. And reach out to us. Say hey.
Yeah. And leave us a review. We haven't gotten a review since season 1, by the way.
Oh, we need a review.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a review. So I think Apple Podcasts, maybe Spotify now you can do reviews. So if you're listening through Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we'd love a review.
Oh, I need to leave a review on Spotify.
Can you review your own show? Is that like ethical, Jen?
I mean, I gave us 5 stars on Apple and it would only let me do it one time. So I think it's ethical.
I mean, integrity is like my second value. So
I only left 1 review.
I love it.
I didn't actually type anything. I just gave us 5 stars.
Oh, that's nice. I should probably go do that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. That's
All right.
excellent.
Well, cheers to, oh my gosh, I'm kind of stumped.
How about cheers to failing forward?
Cheers to failing forward.
Cheers. I would probably be an office manager still if I didn't
Yeah.
fail forward.
Cheer. Yeah. Chocolate shake, cheers, and sparkling water. Cheers to failing forward. I love it.